guess what? The most dangerous and deceitful invention in human history is about to ban one of the most beneficial inventions in human history. And one of the twisted people behind this is claiming that her aggression is for your good. Hi everyone, I'm Gardner Goldsmith for MRC-TV. You know, if one were to create a Venn diagram of those people who suspect that Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm's Cheshire Cat grins hide an avaricious thirst to ban more than gas stoves and to impede American consumers and suppliers from getting cheaper petrochemical energy, and B, those who recall the decade-old federal threat to regulate out of existence the incandescent light bulb, well, the two circles would likely nearly overlap. And both populations of people, well, they're being proven right, as Granholm and her gang of coercers prepare for the August ban of one of the most important inventions in human history. Remember, it's for your protection against the fictitious boogeyman of anthropogenic climate change. And of course, as they say, it'll save you money, thanks to them deciding for you how you calculate your own savings and personal preferences. Thomas Catenacci reports on this from Fox News. Quote, the Biden administration is preparing to implement a sweeping nationwide ban on commonly used light bulbs as part of its energy efficiency and climate agenda. The regulations, which prohibit retailers from selling incandescent light bulbs, were finalized by the Department of Energy, DOE, in April of 2022 and are slated to go into effect on August 1st, 2023. The DOE will begin full enforcement of the ban on that date, but it has already urged retailers to begin transitioning away from the light bulb type and in recent months begun issuing warning notices to companies. So, in 100 years, the United States has gone from the insane, impossible notion of banning alcohol sales to the equally insane and impossible scheme of banning a lighting source that in 1874, two Canadians created and soon sold to Thomas Edison, who then would be credited with the invention. Well, at least the feds back in the early 1900s, those who attacked the booze makers, sellers, and consumers around 1920, well, at least they had the semi-dignity to institute their paternalistic tyranny by passing an amendment to the U.S. Constitution. Today, the tyranny always looms, ready to be imposed by bureaucratic whim as we, the targets, try to remind the people who already get their paychecks via our work that, heck, you know, we apologize and we appreciate their care, but we'd rather be left alone. Instead, Jennifer Granholm seems to think she's doing us a favor by taking our money to, in turn, take away our freedom to make, sell, or buy light bulbs. Quote, the lighting industry is already embracing more energy efficient products, and this measure will accelerate progress to deliver the best products to American consumers and build a better and brighter future, Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm said last year. And here are more delightful details thanks to Fox News' Catenacci. Quote, under the rules, incandescent and smaller halogen light bulbs will be prohibited in favor of light-emitting diode or LED alternatives. While U.S. households have increasingly switched to LED light bulbs since 2015, fewer than half of households reported using mostly or exclusively LEDs, according to the most recent result from the Residential Energy Consumption Survey. Overall, 47% use mostly or only LEDs, 15% use mostly incandescent or halogens, and 12% use mostly or all compact fluorescent, CFL, with another 26% reporting no predominant bulb type. the federal data showed. In December, the DOE introduced separate rules banning CFL bulbs, paving the way for LEDs to be the only legal light bulbs to purchase. And there are more details to make one wonder about how friendly Granholm's smile really is. Quote, according to the survey data, LEDs are also far more popular in higher income households, meaning the energy regulations will particularly impact lower income Americans. While 54% of households with an income of more than $100,000 per year use LEDs, just 39% of households with an income of $20,000 a year or less use LEDs. We believe that further regulatory interference in the marketplace is unwarranted, given that more energy-efficient lighting choices, namely light-emitting diode LED bulbs, are already available for those consumers who prefer them over incandescent bulbs. A coalition of free market and consumer groups opposed to incandescent bulb bans wrote in a comment letter to the DOE last year. That last observation is very important. It's a reminder of the fact that ethics and market economics are actually one and the same. Valuation is subjective, and only through allowing free will in peaceful interactions and market exchanges can people see how others value anything. Not only is it not Granholm's place to tell people how they value their time, money, and other facets of their lives, but also by imposing her preferences, she immediately negates real valuation, in this case, in the field of lighting. Quote, while LEDs are more efficient and generally longer lasting than incandescent bulbs, they currently cost more than incandescent bulbs and are inferior for certain functions such as dimming, the letter continued. Consumers are best served by retaining the choice between incandescent bulbs and LEDs rather than regulating incandescent bulbs off the market. In fact, consumers only can be served by their own interests. Any imposition by government is by definition an infringement on the ability of every consumer to be a consumer. Oh, but of course, Granholm is protecting us from that spurious specter of anthropogenic climate change, a theory that repeatedly has been shown to lack evidence and shown to have many corrupt figures pushing it with manipulated data. Quote, the groups added that estimates of the climate benefits of energy efficiency rules are speculative, assumption-driven, and prone to bias in the hands of agencies with a regulatory agenda. And even if someone's use of a light bulb were causing a temperature change that another person could claim had brought damage to his property or his person, well, that's a matter for a tort lawsuit for damages to be proven in front of a jury, not an unconstitutional energy department to handle. And finally, we can see one last lesson as they prepare to shut down our lights. We can see that those who celebrated Donald Trump stopping this intended action were short-sighted. Because without challenging the unconstitutional and immoral Department of Energy and Environmental Protection Agency, and of course without challenging the aggressive philosophies on which those are built, the possibility of regulatory resurrection always remained and has been made real. Quote, the DOE's rule in April 2022, meanwhile, reversed a Trump administration rule that sought to protect incandescent light bulbs and allow consumers to choose which products they want to purchase.
People said, what's with the light bulb? I said, here's the story. And I looked at it. The bulb that we're being forced to use, number one, to me, most importantly, the light's no good. I always look orange. And so do you. The light is the worst. But number two, it's many times more expensive than that old incandescent bulb that worked very well.
The shocking federal authoritarianism already has seen light bulb makers change their behavior, making changes in their plants and in their purchases and plans. So think about all that when you search for incandescent bulbs, perhaps making you imagine a black market like bootlegging of booze 100 years ago. If these government goons will continue to make us toil for them nearly half of our lives, can't we at least toil for them under lights that we choose? If only the light of truth would shine on the bureaucrats, perhaps we'd all be better off. Thanks for watching, one and all. Remember, you can watch us uncensored on Rumble. We are, of course, still on YouTube, and we look for your comments, and I really appreciate being able to read everything that you write. We also will see you at MRCTV.org. MRCTV.org. The Media Research Center is in its 36th year fighting left-wing bias in the pop media. And if you visit the site, please consider donating to the Media Research Center. We'll also see you in Facebook. We'll see you on Instagram and TikTok. And we'll see you in Twitter. And if you want to find me on Twitter, I'm at Gard Goldsmith there. And on Gab, I'm at Gardner Goldsmith. For MRC TV, keep the lights on. Well, unless the goons are coming. I'm Gardner Goldsmith.